The Lord prefers common-looking people. That is why He made so many of them. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. Abraham Lincoln. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves. Abraham Lincoln. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. Abraham Lincoln. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea. But if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts and beer. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure, permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved, I do not expect the house to fall. But I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other. It is difficult to make a man miserable while he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him. I am not concerned that you have fallen, I am concerned that you arise. As a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. We now practically read it all men are created equal, except Negroes. When the know-nothings get control, it will read all men are created equal, except Negroes, and foreigners, and Catholics. When it comes to this, I should prefer emigrating to some country where they make no pretense of loving liberty, to Russia, for instance, where despotism can be taken pure, and without the base alloy of hypocrisy. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. To ease another's heartache is to forget one's own. Abraham Lincoln. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. I don't know who my grandfather was, I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Achievement has no color. Abraham Lincoln. 7 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent, a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. From whence shall we expect the approach of danger? Shall some transatlantic military giant step the earth and crush us at a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe and Asia could not by force take a drink from the Ohio River or make a track on the Blue Ridge in the trial of 1,000 years. No, if destruction be our lot we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men we will live forever or die by suicide. When I get ready to talk to people, I spend 2/3 of the time thinking what they want to hear and 1/3 thinking about what I want to say. Be with a leader when he is right, stay with him when he is still right, but leave him when he is wrong. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. No matter how much the cats fight, there always seem to be plenty of kittens. Abraham Lincoln. The Bible is not my book nor Christianity my profession. I could never give assent to the long, complicated statements of Christian dogma. We should be too big to take offense and too noble to give it. Abraham Lincoln. I have come to the conclusion never again to think of marrying, and for this reason, I can never be satisfied with anyone who would be blockhead enough to have me. If there is anything that links the human to the divine, it is the courage to stand by a principle when everybody else rejects it. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land. Abraham Lincoln. 7 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations.